Meals on Wheels and Arrow Child Ministries. And now I'm going to read our vision. Reveille's vision is to positively impact business professionals in our community through the development of quality relationships, the passion of the 12th man, and the inspiration to get up early.
Good job. Good job. All right. Who's going to read our history today? That would be John Miller. You want me to bring us to you? All right.
Okay. We were founded in 2016, so 9 years ago. In fact, we're about to have our 9th birthday party coming up soon. Reveille was founded by Philip Wilkerson when he lost his job, and as a result, he lost his network. Phil started attending the Reveille group that met in Houston, but it was a long drive. So he decided to form one on the north end of town. So that's how Reveille up here got started. Now we've moved from place to place. Don't tell IHOP, but we've kind of shut down every place I've been to so far. So we're hoping that doesn't happen to IHOP. But we've had over 2,000 people attend Reveille. It's a great place for your the business owners to have that business-to-business networking. It's a great place to meet new friends. There's a lot of great people in this room. And it's a good place to, if you want to be involved in service type projects, because we give back a lot to our community. And we're the only group that uses a squeaky toy.
John, you're next. Weave through here. John is going to read the script about our name tags, and we have one name tag today.
Howdy. Good morning. An important tradition started with the Aggies in 1922, and we actually have a couple of people in the room that played on the team. Scott and look, you were in the band. Okay, and Roland, you were on the team. Were you one of the injured guys? Yeah. Okay. Well, back in 1922, the Aggies were playing Center College, known as the Dixie Classic. Anybody ever heard of it? Now is the Cotton Bowl, right? Well, they were playing, and their coach was who? Yeah, Coach Bible. He was sitting there, and people are getting injured. They're getting killed, and all of a sudden they're down. They're down to just 11 players, and if they lose one more player, what's going to happen? Yeah, they're going to forfeit the game. So what did the coach do? He looked up in the stands. They saw Roland. Roland was in. I'm losing control. Roland was injured. So he looked up in the stands, and there was an ex-player. He actually became a basketball player, E. King Gill. Ever heard of him? He was a pretty good basketball player, better than football. But, you know, the coach Bible said, hey, come on down. We need you to get dressed. So he goes under the stands, takes one of the injured players' clothes off. That's pretty scary. He gets dressed, and he goes out and stands ready, willing, and able to go into the game. Well, he did not go in the game, which was, okay. But this started the tradition of the 12th man. And if you look around the room, you'll see a lot of tags on people. The new folks that are here, you've got 12s, 25s, 50s, 75, 100, 152, 250. Oh! And so we have this tradition that we give name tags to those people starting at 12 times, don't have to be in a row, 12 times, get to come in and show that you are ready, willing, and able. So with that, do we have a name tag today? All right. Jerry Martin, would you please stand up? All right. Congratulations, Jerry. Good. This is your 12th tag. You are now, you proved that you're ready, willing, and able to come to every meeting. So once you're at this point, now it's time to come every week to get to like a 250. So with that, here we go. And you want to name? Yeah, here we go. Jerry, thank you so much. And there we go. The story of the 12th man.
Good job. Yeah, Jerry started coming here a while back, and I think his second time he starts going, "Hey, how many times I've been here?" So I'm keeping count. All right, for the best part. Yeah, buddy. Okay, we got some first timers here. There's 2, 3, 4. Any others? All right, with y'all first timers, if y'all come up, we're not going to embarrass you, huh? Oh, 5. Okay, y'all come on up. We're not going to embarrass you. Just going to ask you some questions. All right. So we have we'll start with you. Okay, so let me step over here so y'all can see me. All right, first off, what's your name and where are you from?
Howdy. I'm Carla Bright, right here from Spring area. Class of 2010.
How long have you been in the area?
I've lived here since 2007.
Okay.
I moved here from California, San Diego.
Okay. What are you looking for here, or how can we help you?
I was recently laid off, and I'm a human resources manager. So
Okay.
I do everything from employment law to recruitment. I could do consulting if you need it, but I've been doing that for about 20 years.
Okay. Keep coming back. One of the things we do here, today's going to be a short one. We're going to do short commercials, but typically we do longer commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And as people are doing their commercials, listen, you're going to pick up some keywords, buzzwords, and those are people you want to talk to.
Okay.
So we have a wide variety of people that come to this organization. So, and a lot of people have picked up jobs here. So,
Okay.
I can't guarantee it, but
Yeah.
Anyway. So
Go ahead.
how'd you hear about us?
I have a colleague that I just was speaking with.
Yeah.
He goes to the city center
Okay.
breakfast,
Yeah.
and he told me to check the spring set.
See, this is so much better. You don't have to drive all the way down
It's
there.
true. Yeah, I didn't want to drive all the way.
I
down
did that
there.
one time, and that was enough. I said, no, that's crazy. Okay,
Right.
you'll pass it on to her. All right. What is your name? Where are you from?
I'm Amber. I'm also from Spring area. I was
Okay.
invited by Carla
Okay. How long you been in the area?
since 2007.
7. Okay, cool. How can we help you? What are you looking for?
I'm also looking for new opportunities in the legal field,
Okay.
maybe renewable energy, or I'm open to different options.
Okay. Good
I
deal.
work as a paralegal
Paralegal. All right. How'd you hear about us?
from Carla.
There we go. All right. All right. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Stacy Ray. I'm in Magnolia, and
Okay.
I'm with Mosaic. I'm the lead bank.
A
Yeah,
little
navigator
closer so we can hear you.
there. I'm Stacy with Mosaic. I'm the
All right.
lead family navigator there, and I live in Magnolia.
All right. Good deal. You're our guest speaker today?
I am.
Okay, great. So you can tell a little bit more about who you are, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Great. All right. What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Brenda LeVar. I do live in Spring. I'm originally from Waco. And actually, my family, this is the original Texan, came to Texas in shortly after the 1800s, like
Wow.
1815. So, long time. And this is more fun than my UT. Don't tell anybody. Please don't tell anybody I said that.
Well, I don't mind you disparaging University of Tennessee. All right. That's not a problem.
Yes, I only know it's, the UT. That's right. Okay, so I'm here as a presenter, but I just thought I'd add that.
Okay. How'd you hear about our group?
Where's Allison? Somewhere.
Allison Evans?
Evans,
Okay.
and I'm one of the presenters.
Okay. Outstanding. All right. You're next. Okay. You're still welcome. We welcome all types, so we're good. All right. Yeah. All right. So what's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name's Nicole Parnitskaya, and I'm from Conroe.
Okay. How long you been in the area?
In Conroe, like a year. In Texas, I think I'm on about year 4 now.
Where before Texas?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. You ever heard of Brothers Pizza?
Oh, yes.
Okay, just check.
Woohoo!
Okay.
New York! Woohoo!
What can we do for you? How can we help you?
My family just started a business back in November, so I'm just looking to meet other businesses, possibly create affiliate relationships and or anyone who needs
Okay.
our services.
Well, this is the place to do it. Believe me. What type of business?
Power washing, exterior cleaning.
Okay, good deal. How'd you hear about us?
Mike and Angela invited me.
All right, cool. All right. Well, listen, we appreciate y'all standing up here. If y'all would get together, we're going to take a picture of you. What you got? Online. Okay. Did not know that. Well, let's bring her up.
Where's Allison? Somewhere.
Allison Evans?
And
Okay.
I'm one of the presenters.
Okay, outstanding. All right. You're next. Okay. You're still welcome. We welcome all types, so we're good. All right. Yeah. All right. So what's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name is Nicole Karniskaya, and I'm from Conroe.
Okay. How long you been in the area? There she is. All right.
Conroe like a year in Texas.
Let's bring her
I
up.
think I'm on about year 4 now.
Can you hear us?
Where before Texas?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. You ever heard of Brothers Pizza?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Just check.
Woohoo! New York! Woohoo!
Yeah, it is.
Started a business back in November, so I'm just looking to.
All right, we're good. Can you hear us? Hello. Your name's Lori?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Great. Well, I guess who are you and where are you from?
Okay, well, was raised in upstate New York, but I've been in Texas since the 80s. So I guess I'm Texan too, but I'm here representing NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I'll be presenting with Dr. LeVar. And we are here. Allison asked us to come, and I'm very excited to present how and why I got involved with NAMI.
Okay. Well, how'd you hear about us? How'd you hear about our group?
Allison.
Okay, Allison, good deal. Well, thank you for that. Let's keep her up and y'all come up next to the screen the best you can, and don't block her. You can't get both. Okay, so y'all scoot over that way. He's gonna get your picture. I think we're good. All right, everybody do a thumbs up. There we go. There we go. All right. We're going to get into our commercials, but because we have a guest speaker, we're going to do drop and goes for y'all newcomers. What that means is what's your name, what's your business, and keep it short. So we're going to try to keep it to about 5 to 10 seconds. That way we have plenty of time for our speaker. Do we have a cameraman? We have a cameraman right here, Mr. Jacinto. And you're hot. Well, let's go ahead and do Zoomers. Okay, who we got here? Where's today? We got a lot of. Okay, well, let's start with Rich Marsh.
Good morning. I'm Rich Marsh with Between Jobs Ministries. If you're in transition, we should probably talk.
All right, good deal. Let's see. Lori did hers. Let's do Marilyn Sanders. I'm sorry.
Good morning. I'm Marilyn Sander with Pro Action Careers. I have a direct hire employment agency.
All right. Matthew Barsley.
Matthew Barsley, ITE Discovery at KBR.
All right. Sean Atchison. Nope. Sean's got a little less hair. Okay. There he is. All right. Go ahead, Sean. Froze up. He's staring at you.
Looks like he's having technical difficulties.
All right.
Did you call me?
Yeah.
Hey, Sean Atchison with BGSF. Good morning, Reveille. BGSF for all your strategic finance, accounting, and compliance needs. BGSF, your future is our purpose. Have a great weekend, Reveille.
Okay, we have a person named Wyndon.
Wyndon, yes.
Yes. I currently work in SPD, but I'm looking to find more of a research or office position in the medical field. So if you know of somebody who's looking, please reach out to me.
All right, good job. Edgar Almanza.
Good morning, Reveille. Edgar Almanza at SGS Redback Oil and Gas. Edgar Almanza.
Good job. Okay, now we'll do our in-persons. You're it? Okay.
Howdy, Nikki Hankins, No Dumb Blonde Accounting. I clean up messes.
Alan Cunningham, the Home Inspections Company.
Michelle Whitaker, Mortgage Loan Officer, SWBC Mortgage.
Donna Hunter, fighting Texas Aggie class of 86. I brought iceberg souvenirs. Woohoo!
Jennifer Applegate, Impact Fleet.
Howdy. Staying positive in a negative world. Roland Hurst, your man in the room, saying gig 'em and have a great day.
Scott Hoffman, happily retired. Ross, owner of Minuteman Press, where we design, print, and promote you.
Angela Schimmels, Image 360, Signs and Graphics. You guys know the rest.
I'm Jeff Daggs with Schooling Mitchell, business cost reduction, and I don't make a nickel if I don't save you a dime.
Kitty Mike Cell, Hippo Custom Printing, Custom Design, Apparel, and so much more.
Mike Wells, happily retired.
John Miller, class of 81, retired.
J.R. Ramirez, Ramirez Spec Home Inspections. Nothing says happy like saying happily retired.
You're retired? Howdy. Okay, John Stacy, business coach and advisor.
What time is it, people? Yeah, Mike Mogel, Clean Sweep, Office Cleaning, and Trinity Steam Cleaning, making it a healthier, shiny place.
Monroe, I'm in transition. I hope one day to be a real boy. And I'm looking for work in purchasing and manufacturing planning. So if you hear of anything, let me know. I've reached that wonderful age that has come and lit. I'm too tired to work and too poor to quit.
Ronald Lambert, hardware IT program manager at Hewlett Packard.
Beth Ordinero from Neptune Society.
I'm Jerry Martin, a 12th-time Reveille attendee and independent insurance adjuster.
I'm Di with Juice Plus, fruits and veggies and capsules, and I'm responsible for that guy.
Jeff Kirkhoff, IT service delivery manager for Eskimo.
Okay, Allison Evan, licensed realtor with Keller Williams of Woodlands, and it's good to be back with y'all. I've been out of state for 2 months, so.
Howdy. Brain Boy class 78, have camera will travel. Need to be shot? Come talk to me. Bye.
Good morning. David McGuffin, Space City Payments. Be tapped up or swiped. I got a solution for you.
Frank Fuss Life Coaching. I take my clients from Eeyore to Thor, from good to great, and from frustration to celebration.
I'm Bruce Keene, Southern Cross Communications, custom office telephone systems that say, wow.
Morning, Reveille. Bob Jacinto, Legacy Partners Insurance and Tax-Free Retirement Solutions.
I'll just use this one. Howdy. Tommy Hunter, class of 84. I'm Adam today. Got to work on this. That's okay. I know it. Okay. Are you going to introduce our speaker? Or is Angela? Either one. Miss Angela, please come on up.
Okay.
You missed again.
I actually don't even need one mic if you guys know me. But anyhow, yes, today I am very happy to present Allison, one of our longtime members, who has been involved with the National Alliance of Mental Illness, otherwise known as NAMI, for many years now, I believe. And what's that? Yes, many years. I don't know how many years that is, but it's a lot. Can't take my shoes off here, sorry. Anyhow, yes, you'll probably find out some more from a lot of these lovely folks who are going to speak. But yeah, we're honored to have you and everybody else here with Mosaics of Mercy and with NAMI as well. Okay, come on up.
Well, welcome everybody. I am going to say just a quick few words before I turn it over to Brenda. She's going to cover a lot along with Lori, who would have loved to have been here in person, but wasn't feeling quite up to it. So she's going to be speaking by Zoom. But I just want to kind of start by saying, I don't know if y'all know, over one, and I think only, and I'm going to use some notes. I'm sorry. I just feel like I need them this morning. About 1 in 5 people in the United States have a mental health condition, but only about half of them get treatment every year. And, you know, access to healthcare coverage, access to health supports is very important for these individuals to successfully manage their conditions. And you'll hear my story a little bit later with my brother who struggles with mental illness. But today we're going to share with you about 2 nonprofits, NAMI, National Alliance of Mental Illness, as Angela said, and Mosaics of Mercy, which in a lot of ways just go hand in hand in so many ways. They're wonderful resources, and we want you all to be aware of them so that you can help others as well. And again, NAMI stands for National Alliance on Mental Illness. It's an organization that's been around for some time. Lots of resources, lots of support groups, education programs that are so valuable and just really available to those who are struggling or affected by mental illness, not only to the individual, but to the families as well, and those are caregivers. So just huge, very important to know about. And Mosaics of Mercy is a little bit newer, so happy how they've evolved and have really grown. So you'll get to hear about that from Stacy. So our goal today here is mainly just to increase your awareness of these organizations so you have an idea what they offer, because you may not personally have someone in your family who's been affected, but I bet you know somebody or you will come across someone. And I just hope that when you do, that you can refer them to either, NAMI, Mosaics of Mercy. And this is why the postcards are on the table. The postcards are the same. One side is on NAMI, one side's on Mosaics of Mercy, and they have QR codes there that will take you to some more information. So please take one. And if you don't have enough on your table, we have some more up here that you guys can have. So I'm going to turn this over to Brenda in just a second, Dr. LeVar, and then she and Lori will be kind of talking more about some of the share some information on some of the different mental illness conditions. And then I'll share some personal stories. I think Lori's going to share a little bit, and then Stacy will kind of wrap it up with some Mosaics of Mercy. So Dr. LeVar.
You have my PowerPoint. There it is. Okay. Oh, let's see if I can operate that. I love it when people say that they're class of 81 like that. I'm actually class by my doctorate. I finished in 74. So yeah. I'm like the guy in the back that said, I'm old enough to retire, but too poor to quit. No, I really don't know what to do if I quit. That's the main thing. So at any rate, you see the names Allison, Lori, myself, and Stacy. So I'm going to try and run through this pretty rapidly, and I have already started not doing well. Okay, and I think Allison went over a little of this with you, but I think if nothing else, yesterday you saw if you were on I-45, you got the chance to see the issues with mental illness. And I can tell you that NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is not a new organization. Now we're 46 years in the making, but when I get to that slide, I'll tell you a little bit about that. But yesterday, you got to see what happens when families and individuals with mental illness, the work that NAMI has done to create the crisis intervention teams, to work with Harris County, to work with Montgomery County, to be sure that police officers know a lot about how to intervene with people with mental illness. You saw it yesterday, because yes, you saw thousands of cars backed up, all to save one life. And if nothing else, that to me was the best thing I've seen in years to make me feel better about this, because I've actually been with NAMI more than 40 years. So, but that's not my work. My work is as a psychologist, but you know, that's it. So at any rate, a big portion, 50 to 75% of adolescents in our juvenile facilities, 50 to 75% of those individuals need mental health services that are not there. And that's why it's so important that we talk about Mosaics of Mercy. And the majority of those, as I said, need treatment, but without it, they'll be reoffending. And only 60% of people with mental illness are able to get treatment. So it's not the majority. Now let's see, did I go forward there? One of the things that people may or may not know is mental illnesses are brain disorders. They are disorders of the brain. They're not because the person doesn't have the will to do something, or, you know, something has happened, they use some substances or something. What we know now is that a good percentage of what happens with mental illness is a genetic predisposition to the illness. It is the way in which the brain actually matures that causes this. But they're no fault. They're catastrophic stressors. And what a catastrophic stressor is, that there is so much associated with it that it just brings the whole family down, not just the individual, but it impacts the family. It impacts their friends. All of that is a part of it. It is catastrophic in the sense that it also is life altering for a long period of time. Each illness, of course, has its own symptoms. And I'm going to kind of rush through this a little bit, but the QR code on there that talks about facts and mental conditions that's on the card, if you go to that QR code, it will take you to the NAMI national site that has, you can just look at every single diagnosis and hear the conditions, what it's going to look like, what the symptoms are, treatment options, all of that is there. And I just thought it wouldn't make sense to have all that paper out there, kill a few more trees. We would give you, and that's Allison's brainchild there, okay? But major depression, you'll see depressed most of the day, reduced interest and pleasure in almost all activities. You'll see some weight changes. It could be up or down, sleeping too much or sleeping too little, visible agitation, people who are very angry, often for no reason, but it's obvious, fatigue or loss of energy nearly every day, feelings of intense worthlessness. And this is critical because one of the things we do know is that if you talk to people who are very depressed, who may be suicidal, it's okay to talk to them. As a matter of fact, it's okay to say, do you feel like taking your own life? And if you haven't had the course, there's a course that's available through the Behavioral Health and Suicide Prevention Task Force of Montgomery County called Talk Saves Lives. In fact, we now know that talking to people saves lives. But there are two things that normally really are problematic with people with major depression. One is that they feel that they're a burden to others, and they are hopeless about how to fix that. But what we try to do with Talk Saves Lives is teach people how to talk to folks so that you understand. And this can happen to anyone. When we say it's 1 in 5 people, there's nobody here that doesn't know someone who has had one of these illnesses. Okay. So major depression is one you hear a lot about. Bipolar disorder is the one that you hear a lot. And I'm going through this very quickly, but as I said, that QR code will take you to it. You can read it, you can understand it better. But bipolar illness is one where you see the fluctuations in the mood between depression and mania. And mania being, they're just constantly agitated, moving, doing lots of things. And it's important that if you have someone with a diagnosis like that they get medication. That's the one thing we do know. We've got the medicine to do this. And by the way, we know how to work with all of these disorders. The lady that was out on I-45, it didn't have to be that way. But if you only have 60% of people able to get treatment for the illness, you understand that you're going to have that if a good percentage are not being able to be treated. Okay, the average age of onset for bipolar disorder is 25. For all the other mental illnesses, you normally see it at 14. The greatest percentage is between 14 and early 20s, but bipolar disorder, a little later onset. Symptoms can vary from person to person, and they have to have distinct manic and depressive states, but they can also have extended periods on both of those. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of people talk about folks being bipolar. That's why it's just different poles. That's what it means. Okay. Okay. Let me go. I'm going too long, but I want to. Okay. These are the things that you'll find, as I said, genetics is first, stress is next, and then the brain structure and function. So it's the manner in which the brains are put together. And I hope you're understanding that I'm talking about chronic illnesses. We talk about cancer. We talk about lots of other illnesses. We talk about hypertension, things like that, problems with your heart, all of that. And we see those as clearly genetic predisposed conditions that something in the environment has caused them to occur. All of the mental illnesses are no different than that. And I'll go on with that. I'm trying not to go too long. Schizophrenia is the one that you are most concerned about, probably because you see people who may be just wandering around. They may look very disheveled. They may be talking to themselves or talking to others when they shouldn't. That only happens because the illness is there and it hasn't been treated. That's the biggest part of it. Schizophrenia, of course, is a very serious mental illness. It interferes with everything the person does. Their ability to just live is impacted by this disorder. And it can occur at an early age, but the average age of onset, as I said, the late teens, early 20s for men, and late 20s, sometimes as late as the 30s for women. So there is a difference in when the illness actually occurs. But this is the one that you see and you think, why are those people wandering like that? Why was that lady sitting out? I want to keep, if nothing else that you hear, it's just as if she had cancer or any of them, and they couldn't be treated. Okay. And you say, well, do we know how to treat it? The good news is that we know how to treat it. We have excellent medications. Sometimes people won't take it, and sometimes it's not available. The best of the medications that can be given by injection, you don't even have to take it every day, are extremely expensive. But keep remembering, there's money somewhere, right? Is it certainly been cheaper than having all of us putting out that gas yesterday. See, I was in the traffic yesterday. It took me an hour and 40 minutes to come from Conroe yesterday. So, okay. Again, genetic causes, genetic environment, brain chemistry, and sometimes substance use. So there are people who become ill as a function of the substance. Okay. I wanted to run on because sometimes we think of substance use just the same as, somebody has decided they just wanted to use. There's a difference between substance use, misuse, and addiction. And I'm talking about addiction. So I'm not talking about somebody who just, decide to go out today and just drink all evening and then, that was not good. This addiction, where it's a chronic relapsing condition, is characterized by compulsive drinking all the time, or using drug use, not just drinking, but drug use. And even though it creates tremendous consequences for the person, they keep doing it. And you say, well, why would somebody keep doing something that they shouldn't do? I put this in there just for you to see. The very first slide is what a normal brain looks like in that. This is the second slide, the D2 receptors, which are dopamine 2 receptors. You'll see what happens after initially, and then going forward, after more than a month of using, you see what it's doing to the brain. This is actually positron emission tomography. This is actually looking at how the brain is responding at the centers there. And you can see that it gradually changes the brain. As a matter of fact, what we do know is especially cocaine will in fact change the way the brain functions. I've said this too because sometimes we look at people with addictions, we don't see them as in need of treatment. It's the very same thing. They have to have treatment. And it's not just time away from the substance. Okay? In adolescence and childhood, you'll see this attention hyperactivity disorder. You'll see lots of others. And I'm taking it away. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. This is the one that you see and hear most about, autism spectrum disorder, because it's a whole spectrum of people. It shows up differently in different people. But one of the things that I think you may not know is that now we know, having looked at the brains of individuals and looked at how they're functioning, that very often autism is very similar in some ways to schizophrenia, actually more similar than to bipolar disorder. So it's interesting. So if you think it's just caused by people, I'm going to be very inappropriate here. If you think it's because somebody got a vaccine, that's not true. Because that would be, then you would have more schizophrenia. If you look at the brains and you look at how they function, but we have done a lot of work. The National Institutes of Mental Health in the National Institutes of Health have done yeoman's work in looking at the brain. They actually have brain banks where they've looked at the brains of people that have been donated by their families to see, is there a structural difference? And they're seeing that there is a difference. So it's not just somebody's idea of what happened. Okay. Talked a little bit about NAMI already. So I've gone over my time. I am so sorry. I'm more than happy after everybody else finishes to answer additional questions. And we've got contact. Thank you.
Well, I'm not sure if Lori, I know Lori's online if she were here. Lori, did you want to say anything right now?
Yes, I can, or I can wait until Mosaics presents, whatever you prefer.
Well, why don't we, do you want to, I don't know what would be better. Since we just kind of went through some of the different conditions that are out there, and I can share a little bit about my brother. Why don't you go ahead and share what you want to share, and then
Okay.
I'll talk about Stephen, and we'll
All right.
Mosaics, wrap it up. Okay.
Okay. I introduce myself. I'm Lori Derlin, and I serve on the board for NAMI Greater Houston. And I became involved with NAMI back in 2019. And have learned so much about the different disorders, and also all the help and support through our education. We bring awareness to the community. Mental illness, there's a big stigma. And the reason I know all of these stigmas and such that people go through is because they're too afraid to talk about it. We've put a black line on this mental illness, and back in 2019, my husband attempted suicide. No idea that he suffered from the depression he did. And my son and my daughter and myself found him up in one of the garages in Houston. He's 6'4". And we were able to break in the windows, but the fire engines and the ambulances couldn't get up through the hospital. So my son and I had to get him up, shove him into the back of my son's car, bring him down, and thank God it was in time. But the trauma of understanding and trying to be the biggest support for my children and for my husband, who felt that he failed. He did not get his job done that he intended to do that day. And the hospitals, even though they are so well prepared, and we're lucky we live in Houston, they have a protocol. They have what they want to go do. I didn't want Ross locked up in a room. I wanted him in a facility that I knew that he could have windows and such. And we were lucky. I got him into a place down here in the Woodlands area. He was lucky enough to have a great psychiatrist. I had to fight his employment to get his benefits. And then they used him to get what they needed done because of a collaboration they did with a hospital down there. Ross is a molecular biologist. And then when he was ready to go back to work a month later, they convinced him he should stay on to let the collaboration work for another month, and then they let him go. They let him go, in my opinion, was because of what he went through, and they didn't want that tainting hit them. This is something that goes on all the time. And through NAMI and the support groups and the awareness, they helped me get through the trauma, helped me understand that this is what a lot of people go through. A lot of people are too afraid to reach out. And the more we educate, the more we help people to understand that we did not choose to be mentally ill. This isn't a disease just like other diseases. And it's a safe place to be able to talk about it and have people understand and offer information as much as we can. My mother, back in the 50s, had a mental breakdown. And I was from New York. She was locked up in Rochester State Hospital. She went through electroshock treatment. She went through hell and back, and but came out. My father divorced her not quite the right way, and that he should have done that and been supportive. And throughout those years till 1993, was diagnosed as being depressed. So every time she went through her high or her low, it wasn't medically okay. And finally, in 1994, we got her to see a psychiatrist, was diagnosed with being bipolar, and lived for the next, let's see, 20, 30 years being okay. But it takes a lot of support from the family, from the individual caregiver to help them. So NAMI has helped me to be able to get out and reach other people, to show them what we offer as an organization. The classes are wonderful, and I'm thankful for the people I've met, and continue to do the support groups and volunteer. And I hope that the people that are here today will reach out if they have loved ones, or that they are feeling depressed or having issues, to know that there are organizations out there that can help you privately, and offer resources, especially the next organization, Mosaics, who can actually offer individual professionals that you can seek out. So thank you for Allison for inviting me here. It's nice to be able to be here and share. Thank you.
Want to go ahead and share a little bit about mosaics, or do you want me to go? You want to go? Huh? Okay, okay. Well, okay, so I'll share real quickly about my brother, and then I'm going to turn it to and she's going to wrap it. Stacy will wrap it up for us, so a little bit more. So a lot of you are in here in this room have heard kind of a little bit about my story in the past. But I actually, NAMI is near and dear to my heart because my brother has, as you heard up here a little bit, he is diagnosed with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder and has had that when he was a teenager. Today he's 52 years old, so he's had it for many years. But, you know, although he is doing fairly well today, much better because we have him on the right medications, it was a really rough time. He went through a lot. My parents, after 23 years of marriage, divorced when he was only about 9. Then when he was 16, my mom passed for an illness. And so she was not in his life either. And so I think environmental, sometimes that can influence. Again, it's primarily, we had nobody in our family that had a mental illness, schizophrenia, or anything like that. But he's been through a lot. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. He has struggled over the years. Like he was in and out of hospitals when he was a teenager, maybe early 20s. He was at Rusk State Hospital, Devereaux Foundation Treatment Center, a number of places. He's been in and out of different personal care homes, some of them not the greatest, to be honest with you. He's been on the streets at times. We haven't known when he's been. So I think I'm sharing this because I hear a lot being on the support groups that I'm in now, these stories from people who maybe have just recently been introduced to some of this through their, family members have been diagnosed, and you hear a lot of similar things. But it was tough. It was heartbreaking. But there has been some times too, he was good. He lived in an apartment for a couple of years on his own with a roommate. But a lot of this, when it was first going on and I didn't know who NAMI was, I didn't learn about him really until November 2010. And that's when I went ahead and signed up or joined the NAMI education group. And NAMI, they offer so many education programs. And I participated in that. It was wonderful. It was like a 8-week course where you're in there with other family members that have loved ones with mental illness, whether it be their spouses, their kids, sibling, whatever it might be. And they educate you on really in depth about the different illnesses. They give you certain just information you need that helps you manage where to go, how to prepare, what to do. But it was in 2014, we had and Stephen was on medication off and on. Sometimes they don't want to take it. But in 2014, we did learn about something new. It was a shot that Dr. LeVar mentioned. It's a 3-month shot, 1-month shot. So it kept him a little bit more stable, and there was definitely a turnaround. That was a very hard year for us, very hard year. So anyway, he's doing better. And I was just going to say, I attend the monthly support group now online whenever I can with Montgomery. And it's wonderful to be able to give back and share, because it is really hard what you go through, but you realize we're not alone. People that I've come in contact have really been helpful, and it's really been great. So I need to wrap it up. Let me give this to Stacy. She's going to quickly talk about Mosaics of Mercy. They are another organization that is good to know about.
Thank you, Allison. First of all, thank you so much for having us here today. As you've heard, mental health touches everyone around you, whether it's yourself, a loved one, someone you know. So this is where Mosaic steps in. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we are. We offer mental health crisis prevention, not crisis management. We provide support before and after a crisis. We help individuals and families navigate support services. We are not a service provider. We are neutral, and we leverage all resources available to service our community members. We collaborate with local providers in Montgomery and Harris and surrounding counties. Thank you. So people have a lot of questions when it comes to mental health and addiction resources, like, where do I start? Who takes my insurance? What can I afford? Who is nearby? Who can help with depression, substance use, or both? When you call Mosaics, you're going to be connected to a family navigator who is well equipped to help you navigate your mental health needs. Our family navigators are licensed clinicians that specialize in understanding local mental health systems, breaking down access barriers, matching needs to the right resources. Our process is that we are open from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. If you call after or before and you get an answering service, we will return your call within 24 hours. Resources are provided within 48 business hours, and it might take a little bit longer depending on the complexity of the issue. And then we follow up with you once we provide those resources within 72 business hours to make sure that you got connected, or to see if you need more help. Our goal is to reduce the stress of navigating care alone. We know that navigating mental health care and addiction recovery can feel overwhelming. Our navigators help individuals feel seen, supported, and empowered. In January, we had the honor of recognizing Dr. Elizabeth McInville at our annual gala. She is a national recognized speaker and advocate known for her groundbreaking work in OCD treatment, mental health awareness, and stigma. I'd like to share a brief clip of her speech that highlights how mosaics and mental health navigation are making a meaningful difference. We can't do that? Oh, it's not working. Okay, no problem. Okay, it's also on our website. I encourage you to visit our website and you can hear. No problem. Okay. So I am often asked how someone can get involved with Mosaics, and we have several meaningful ways to support Mosaics in our mission to remove barriers to mental health and addiction recovery care. Our greatest need is sustaining the funding that allows us to continue offering our services at no cost to the community. We believe this is an invaluable service, and we've seen firsthand the impact that mental health resource navigation can have on the one. I'd love to invite you to save the date for our annual gala in January on the 31st. It's a beautiful evening celebrating hope and healing. And for those interested in ongoing support, we also offer the Mosaics Monthly Commitment Circle. I have more information on both of those here at the table. And again, I appreciate you giving us the time today to come and share about our services. Thank you.
Yeah, they're going to stay after the meeting if y'all want to talk to them. All right. Well, thank y'all for coming out. We really appreciate it. Looks like we got some door prizes. 5. Let's see. What all we got here? We got barbecue, glass cleaner, and a mug. The mug. It's not quite big enough to fit a pint of ice cream in, but pretty close. Okay. Let's start with number 1. That would, No, I've seen some of the big ones. You can drop a pint of ice cream. First winner is from Mosaic, Stacy Ray. Come on up here. You get to choose. You get to choose which one you want. There we go. Next one, Hydro Hawks pressure washing. Oh. Yeah. That's good. That's barbecue. That's good. All right. Neptune Society, Joe Bordenero. Miss Bordenero, Beth. Oh, you didn't get the barbecue one. All right, that's okay. Yep, Home Depot. It's Joe. Close enough. Nikki Hankins, you're next. All right. And looks like one of our more regular winners, Mr. Alan Cunningham. You don't want it? You're good? All right. So we have another name then. It would be Scott Hoffman, Esquire. I got to read his card. This is cool. Says Scott Hoffman, ESQ, retired, now available for aggravations, instigations, agitations, condemnations, irritations, confrontations, retaliations, and other worthwhile causes. There you go. We're going to put this up on the website. What the hell? Come on up here. We're going to get a picture of all our winners here. I'll get out of the way. Yeah. Okay. Do we have any announcements? We got an announcement right here.
Does everybody know what next Friday is?
Listen up. Listen up.
It's Friday. It is also July the 4th. There will not be a Reveille meeting on July the 4th. You will be off for the weekend enjoying fun with your family. Don't come.
Right.
I'm wearing my red, white, and blue today because July 4th, we will not meet.
Yeah, we have a birthday party coming up on July 18. And for y'all that have not been to the birthday party, it's kind of cool. It's a different kind of meeting, but it's kind of like old home week or homecoming. And we get to y'all can meet some of the people who have been regular Reveilleers. Some of the people that have been here since the start. Some people have dropped off, but it's kind of a cool event. We will put out more information on that as time goes by. So we're good to go. Any other important announcement? Okay, going once, going twice. Sold. All right. Y'all come back next week. Not next week, week after. Next week is July the 4th. Have fun.
Have a great week.
You too, everybody. Actually, a great 2 weeks.
When I first learned about Mosaics of Mercy, honestly, I kind of thought it's a little bit too good to be true. I was like, oh, there's not really an organization that helps do this. So many of us talk about how this is needed.
Can you hear it?
And I learned about the ability for someone to call and talk to a clinician and tell their story once. For that clinician to be able to curate effective resources. And I can promise you, I've gotten calls from Mosaic saying we have a patient with OCD, who should we refer them to? So I